Hello, apa khabar semua orang? Financial knowledge. Sorry, I'm just sharing on my page. How's everybody doing? Apa khabar? How are you, Rafiq? You good?
I'm I'm fine apart from my apparently newfound superpower,
Newfound
enhanced
superpower.
enhanced taste of
Salt.
savoriness.
It's okay. It's this the season to be jolly. Makan makan salt banyak-banyak.
Yeah,
But anyway, welcome to the show. How's everybody doing? And I hope everybody's okay because it's been a crazy 2 weeks from the last time we spoke until now. A lot has happened.
yes, a
A
lot.
lot has happened from within these 2 weeks. Some public a lot, and then a lot of people. The close contact and COVID is going around. Yes, everybody is aware of that. So the thing we want to tell everybody is to be aware of it. If you have it, please isolate and don't spread it. That's about it, lah. That's the best we can say now, right?
Yeah, yeah. But like I said
Okay,
lah, I think it's a matter of when lah. It's not a matter of
correct.
if anymore lah. It's a matter of
Yeah,
when.
because it's I remember the first COVID where you heard people kena, but now literally someone who kena or your relative dah kena, so
Yeah, it's getting closer lah. So
it's
for
yeah,
me already kena lah. So yeah,
yeah.
one of the things that happened in the past 2 weeks is that me and my family finally contracted COVID. So it was an interesting experience lah. For those yang dah
Right,
kena, I think you know what we're talking about, right? So it was
right.
it felt like the first MCO where we couldn't go out from the house. Yeah, so we
So
couldn't go out for house, so we
yeah,
had to grab everything. We had to ask relatives to buy stuff that we cannot get from Grab to
right.
send it to outside of our house and everything. Like, okay, please put on the tembok, and then we just pick it up
Go get it from
and
there. Yeah, I
go
know.
go go inside. Yeah, so is that lah. So like it was that for like about 1 week, because now it's just like the quarantine is about 1 week if you kena. And
Right.
after 1 week, okay, the first thing once I got my matching paper, went to mama and had and had a tewas.
Because like cannot tahan. Yeah, I have
Cannot
to do
tahan
it.
already.
But okay. I know this is not finance. I know this is not a finance thing, but I want
Yeah.
to know when you tested positive, what was the process you have to do? Just in case people don't know. I know this is not a financial question, but you went through it. I
Yeah.
just at least want to know.
Okay, so basically, like after I tested positive, you
Yeah.
just have actually just to update your status in My Sejahtera.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
That's
so
it.
once you update your status in My Sejahtera, like they will come up with a survey. So you fill up all the questions. They ask you all the symptoms.
Right.
So depending on the number of symptoms and the severity of the symptoms, then they would then do a basic evaluation saying that you are at which category.
Understand.
So, like for me, because I had symptoms, so I was considered category 2A, because my
Okay.
my biggest issue with the symptom was very very sore throat. So
Right.
by
Right.
the second and third day, uh, I really didn't want to talk because it was very painful.
Understand. Understand. All
It
right.
was
Okay.
very painful, but we didn't have to we weren't required to do follow up tests.
Right.
So you don't even have to go to the clinic to do the PCR test.
Right.
Once you inform My Sejahtera that you're positive,
Ah.
then automatically you'll get your quarantine papers already.
Oh, okay.
So then your My Sejahtera is going to turn red.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically then you really can't go anywhere lah. So because every place that uses My Sejahtera, right? So they will
Yeah.
see from far that your status is red already lah.
Yeah. And then you cannot
Yeah,
go. I mean, but
yeah,
technically you shouldn't be going out lah. So
correct.
yeah.
You shouldn't be going out
Eh,
anyway.
and like what Rafiq says, I hope that helps you all who are worried about it. And in case you get it, you don't know what to do. Now at least you know, because we've got someone who's gone through it. And it also shows in business, if you look at it. My shop over the weekend was like a lot of people, and then suddenly came Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, quiet again. The whole of Subang is quiet to a point where I rarely find parking in front of my shop, but now got parking. So I know that means lesser people are coming out and moving around. So fair enough. But 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 yeah lah, it's going to affect businesses and income and
Yes.
stuff like that. And some of the war going on in Russia, I mean in Ukraine with Russia, is how do I put this? I remember 2 weeks ago, a month ago, we were saying economy looking good, a lot of positive signs. March, since it's going to open up, everybody can travel already. Then very good. But what does it look like now, based on the current situation?
Okay, so actually it was interesting that you highlighted that lah before we go into the topic for today lah.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, I now that you refresh my mind lah. Yeah, so I did remember talking about it. So interestingly, like since then, as you said lah, a lot of things has happened. A lot of things have
Yep.
happened, and we actually just recently also like prepare because for our clients we actually share market updates on a regular basis. So we shared lah our updated market update for February to all our clients, and we highlighted all the scenarios lah. So then I compared that against the notes in for January. So then it's like a swing. It's like a change in terms
Correct.
of direction. But I did talk to my management team members about it. What is happening right now, at least from a market point of view, is not that far off, at least from the behavior when we first had our MCO
Okay. 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 Okay.
in March.
Okay.
So March 2 years ago and
Ah.
March now, actually the
Yeah.
market is behaving the same.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So if you remember, so we had sell-offs in the equities, in risk
Yep. Yep.
assets, etc. Blah blah. It's the
Yep.
same thing. So
Right.
it's
Okay.
the same thing that we're having, and the thing I've been telling all my clients is the same thing. So this is temporary.
Yeah. I,
Yeah,
I, I,
yeah,
the
this is
scary
temporary
thing
nature.
about this is temporary is this is temporary at this point, but it can swing either way. That's the
Yeah, it can
scary
swing
part
either
for
way.
me.
Yeah,
Yes.
it can swing. It can swing either way. So it's the same thing that I tell all my clients. I think I've told this a few times on the show. Is that
Yep.
there's multiple options that you can do if let's say you're
Yeah.
already invested, right? So
Yep.
just
Yep. Yep.
summarize. First is you do nothing.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you're invested, you just do nothing. You just wait it out.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so once everything is settled down, so okay, so once the Russia and Ukraine have their peace ceasefire, then okay, obviously market's going to improve. When
Yep.
China improve, then blah 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 sama lah. Malaysia now we already announced the endemic phase 1st April, so
Yep.
technically means there shouldn't be any MCOs anymore.
Yeah. Shouldn't be lah because it's endemic.
Ah, it's endemic.
But
Yeah, yeah. So, but that is what people are expecting lah. The
yeah.
markets and everything, and they're opening our borders 100%.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, they're opening our borders 100%. So those are signs that we're moving towards the next phase. So hopefully, with that, things would get closer back to whatever normal is now lah. Okay. Yeah.
I like that.
So
Whatever normal is now.
okay, so that is the first one lah. You do nothing, you just wait it out. Okay, so second is that if you have
Yep.
resources, you understand the risk that you'll be taking. As you said lah, it can be currently, it can go up, it can go down. Okay, so you basically add on to your investment,
Right.
assuming Okay,
Yeah.
you're taking an opportunity because some of the things that you purchase, assuming you have the right fundamentals and everything, you believe
Yep.
that it is at a discount. So macam beli year end sale lah.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Okay. So but
Because
understand
you're
that it
taking
can still go down. It can still
correct.
go
So
down and you can lose
so
more money.
what you're doing is you're taking a risk and assuming that this the lowest it would go, so you're buying in more so that when
Yeah.
it does pick up you should improve, but
Yeah.
no 100% guarantee, because you've got
No.
100% guarantee everybody will be rich.
Correct. Okay. So that's the second option that you would have. Third option is basically you switch. So you
Right,
take up all your high risk investments and go into the low risk investments. So you
right,
go from
okay,
equities, you go to bonds and sukuk. You go to fixed income type. So or
right,
safe havens, etc., like gold, things like that. Okay, you go into that. Okay. So but with regards to this option, basically you are already realizing your loss or
yes,
losses.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
you're already
yes,
realizing losses. Before this, it was just paper transactional loss. Now it is a actual physical loss.
because
So
you're
you
you're
use up the
you're
money.
you're you're cutting everything there, you're just
Yeah,
selling it and changing it to
yeah,
something else. So in
correct.
case people tak faham, what it means is if your stock was at 10 ringgit and you bought at 10 ringgit, now it's at 8 ringgit and you scared it's going to go lower, you take it out at 8 ringgit, so you've got a loss of 2 ringgit, and buy
Correct.
other things like gold with it,
Yeah,
hoping that it goes more stable, or gold
and
could go
our
up.
goal will go up. Yeah,
Yep.
but you do that, then that one can also go down.
Correct, 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 correct. So
So
there's no
there's, there's there's
guarantees.
there's no guarantee also. There's no
Correct.
guarantee also. Okay. Last is that okay, you redeem, so you take your loss also, and then you put your money in fixed deposit, you put dalam
Right.
ASB, tabung haji, you take out, put it back in EPF. Yeah, so basically you eat your loss and there's no risk of it going down further lah.
Right. So it's just not planning to make it back quick, the loss
Yeah.
that you suffered.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Cool.
those are the standard four options. You
Yep.
you read any articles ke, you go to any blogs, financial
More or
influencers ke,
less.
you meet a financial planner ke, whatever it is kan. Cannot run away from
It's
these
always
four options.
correct. Correct. Because
Cannot
that's
run
the
away
only
from these
options
four
you have.
options. Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone
Okay.
is going to tell you that is something else, right?
Ah.
Just please check
Yeah.
what is that something else ah.
Exactly. Because if someone can guarantee you're going to get 100%, don't worry. This one, during this time, sure can pick up. Something is not right, because no one, the world's market is volatile at the moment. Don't just think it's Malaysia, it's the whole world, because of that turmoil, that's geopolitical tensions that's happening in Ukraine, Russia, and NATO, and the rest of the world, and dan lain-lain. So there you go. At least you're aware of it. Before we continue, I want to do a few things. First of all, I want to shout out to Victor. Thank you so much for being in the crowd again, buddy. Thank you for always adding in
Victor.
information to us. Secondly, of course, you see the scan me under Rafiq. That scan that for a free financial advice, or the code on top of Rafiq. Also follow Wealth Vantage social media. They've got all the social medias. So just type in Wealth Vantage My, and also the TikTok also got. So go find out there, because what they do is every day they give you a different tidbit of information, because main reason why we're doing this, plus everything they're doing, is to increase the financial knowledge amongst Malaysians, which is pretty, can do better. That's what we can say. Can do better is a better word. Okay, now back to the program. Remember, if you got any questions, if this is after the fact, if you're watching this while it's not live, you still can put your questions in the comment section, and someone will reply it through comments. We'll just type it out. But if you're here live, if you've got any financial questions, even though it's away from the topic, it could be any random financial question that you have, that you've always wanted to ask, but then you don't know who to ask. Well, you can ask us, because Rafiq is the licensed financial planner. He can guide you there. If we don't know the answer, we will get back to you and tell you, don't worry, we'll find the actual answer, give it to you. And a caveat that we're putting, whatever we're telling you today, remember, it's tips, top line. If you want things specific to yourself, you got to go to them specifically. Woo! Sudah clear. Okay, back to the program. All right, back to the program. Geopolitical is one thing that can cause a lot of problems when it comes to finances and stuff. Another one is the climate. So another thing that's unpredictable. So if flooding is happening, okay, when stuff like that happens, okay, let's not talk on a personal level first. Let's not talk about what you can do about your own finances and stuff like that. Let's talk about what does that do to the market. Does that actually interrupt the market in any way, or floods is just floods is just floods?
Okay. Interestingly, so before this, I think um, because of where it usually happens, it doesn't have that big of an impact.
Correct.
But now, like in the most recent, where it is actually happening closer to home, meaning like
Yep.
in the heart of the country where the economic center is,
Yep.
there is actually an effect.
Right. Okay. 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 Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not the overall lah. It's not the overall. So it's like, and how to say, it's not exactly the whole market. But you know how the supply chain was affected due to
Right.
the last year punya
Yeah.
floods.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yep.
last year punya floods. So basically, then like McDonald's didn't have fries, didn't have
Correct.
cheese,
Correct. Correct.
and all that, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, it does have an effect. It's
Understand.
just whether it's big enough to catch out the whole index. Like it might affect, let's say, certain companies who are
Right.
directly impacted by that particular flood.
Understand.
Yeah,
But
but not let's say the whole country as or the whole market as a whole lah.
okay, the question why I brought up based on the market is sometimes if something tragedies happen frequently, will that scare away investors and stuff like that? Will it
Mm,
cause a problem? There's a chance lah. I'm not saying 100% it can lah, but there
yeah.
is a chance, right? Like everything else. All right, now let's go to a personal level. Um, I'm looking at the devastation and the damage caused. Okay, I recently was shared that apparently insurance for car insurance, there is now insurance for floods.
Flooded.
I never knew that, but you got to pay extra. So there are insurance for floods now for cars, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Vehicles.
it has been available for quite some time already.
Oh, I never knew
Okay.
this. I always
So
thought,
because the biggest issue with insurance or takaful in Malaysia
yep.
is actually very dependent on the agents, on the people
Ah,
selling it.
okay.
Okay. And so the people who sell it, then they will, not to say that there are not any people who are selling this class of insurance or this class of takaful, but compared to the amount of people that sell the life portion, so
Yep.
if you pass away, if you have critical illness, if you go to the
All
hospital,
that lah.
etc. So
Ah,
those type of agents is a lot more versus the
correct.
agents that actually focuses on loss of assets.
Yes. Not
Because even
many.
from a license point of view, it's actually two separate licenses.
Oh, okay. I never knew that. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the assets is covered under general insurance or general takaful.
Okay.
So the ones that most agents are doing is actually covered under life or family insurance or family takaful. So it's
All right.
actually two separate groups. Two
And
separate groups. It has its own licenses. It has its own exams that you have to do. It has its own regulations.
Understand. Understand.
Yeah.
So
So example, like I have both.
yeah,
So I actually have the general insurance and general takaful, life insurance and life takaful, family takaful. So I can do all if I choose to.
understand.
Okay.
Okay.
So the first part of why a lot of people do not know is because you don't have a lot of people actually going out
And selling it,
to market it,
the product. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
sell
yeah.
the product,
So
to market the product.
the product exists, but not many people sell the product. That's about it.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So give you the easiest example lah. So okay, one of the product in this general class that most of us take is your motor
Uh,
insurance.
Oh yeah, correct. Okay.
It's your
Yes.
motor insurance. Why we have to take it?
Yep.
Because it's compulsory.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So what happens when we do this? It's not that you have an agent that comes and knocks on us our door. Hey, you want to buy motor insurance or not? No.
Yeah.
The process is like we then go and find how we go about to do it. So before we had online and everything, so we go to either post office.
Right.
We go to post office because they do it, and they do the road tax at the same time. So one stop center, or we
Yeah.
go to the places where they have the iklan in terms of okay, we can do your motor insurance and everything. So we
Yeah.
go there and do it. Okay. Only recently once they start doing online, so then people are renewing it online.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Yeah, but there's no like people like really actively like even like I said, I have the license. I don't go out to my clients. Hey, have you renewed your motor insurance or not?
Yeah. No, because it's everybody. You see, with the motor insurance, when it comes to motor insurance, you already it's almost automated. You only when it's coming close to your road tax gonna die. That's when
Yeah,
you just log on and click a few buttons and then pay online and then it's done. You don't even think about it
correct. But the main reason, in my personal opinion, is
yeah,
actually the amount of money that the agents get.
because not much lah inside there.
It's 10%. It's
Oh,
ten percent of your policy premium. So
which is
if
not
let's say
much.
your insurance is 500 ringgit,
Yeah.
50 ringgit.
Yeah, so it's pointless like a broken pencil.
Yeah. So basically, in order, let's say, for uh, an agent who focuses on this to, let's say, get 5,000 ringgit a month,
Yep.
so he or she then needs at least 100 clients a month,
Right.
not 100
A
clients in
month.
total, 100
Yeah,
clients
yeah.
a month,
A month.
just to do 5,000, just to do 5,000.
Which is scary, and
Yeah.
that's why it's more or less automated in a way lah. But that's the
Yeah.
question. It goes back. Before this, I've always thought that when it comes to motor insurance, there's no such thing as an insurance added clause for natural disaster. I thought always when natural disasters happen, gone, habis. That's it. When Mother
Ada.
Earth has something to do with it, you got nothing. But apparently, got lah.
God, apparently ada.
Okay.
So dah lama dah ada. Like I said, dah lama dah ada.
The weird part is I've always, I don't normally read through. I'll read like maybe windscreen, click windscreen, everything else tak apalah, tak nak, because you don't expect floods to hit where you are lah.
Betul?
But as shown in the recent days, anything is possible these days. So now, what happens? This all, how much do they claim? Because we're going to go back to what we've always said. You got to save for rainy day because in case anything teruk happens, you got to eat from that fund or interrupt your growth of your wealth. So stuff like this is interrupting your growth of the wealth. But if insurance covers a portion of it or all of it, how much does insurance cover most of the time?
It actually depends on what you take, because even though like insurance covers, so there are uh, it's not as straightforward.
Right.
So it's not like
Okay.
okay, like you take life, or if you pass away through whatever reason, etc. Blah blah blah. So it's the payout is already like set.
Correct. Correct.
So with regards to this general insurance, so there is situations that is taken into account. So it's the same thing. Okay, so when you took it, uh, they will ask, okay, so where are you generally park your car, blah 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 blah, all that. So because they need to evaluate
Right.
whether you're high risk or not. So not to say that they wouldn't cover you,
Correct.
but then they will
Correct.
charge you more in order to cover you.
Correct. So if you park like an underground car park in flood prone
Yes.
areas, then expect it to be high.
There's a possibility lah. So like near to our house, you know that every year TTI Jaya
Yep.
memang ada.
Yep.
Even the people over there already like sudah know lah. Okay, it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of whether it's high or low. Is
Correct. Even like the people in Sri Muda expect a bit of flood, not to the
yeah,
point of what happened recently lah, but they kind of
yep,
expect it.
correct. So then if you're at places where the possibility of it happening is higher,
Yeah.
so like I said, so the insurance companies will can probably still cover you, but compared to let's say you live on high ground,
Right.
right, where the probability of it happening is lower, so then the people with high probability will pay more because that's how insurance and takaful works. It's based on probability.
Understand. No, but it's good to know that there is insurance for vehicles for floods. I honestly, until today, I thought they don't have. Until recently,
Yeah,
like, hey, God,
correct. So and when I used to give a lot of like this awareness talks and everything, I usually highlight this point also, but
yeah,
there's actually another part with regards to securing our assets that a lot of people miss out.
right.
Okay, which is your house.
Yes, that's where I was going to lead to after this.
Yeah, which is your house. So, good news
Yeah,
is that if your house is still owned by the bank,
the bank will.
the bank will ensure that you have coverage.
But most of the time, the bank will only insure fire insurance.
Correct. So most of the time, yes, they will insure fire
Yeah,
because what they worry is something like the house burns down.
correct, 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 correct,
Because the house burns down and the house is their asset. As long as the bank
correct,
owns it, the house is their asset.
correct,
Okay. So they will ensure that the insurance company will pay for the house to be rebuilt back.
correct,
But
correct.
it's not gonna cover the content of the house.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The
It's gonna cover the shell.
EC. So,
Yeah,
so
it's
the
just gonna cover the shell. So it's gonna cover the shell. It's gonna cover your plumbing, your wiring, etc. Like how the house was
yeah.
before you purchase it.
But is there an insurance for the things inside the house?
God, but the bank is
Where
not gonna force you to take it.
I know, but where do you go to get stuff like this? Honestly, I don't know. I know the weird part is in America. When it comes to America, I would say I know you can even insure people's finger, and you've heard of weird things people insuring, especially the celebrities. So in America, you're like, yeah, you can insure anything as long as you got the money. But in Malaysia, I didn't know, or uh, I don't know where to go to insure stuff like that.
Yeah. So basically, one place would be like your insurance brokers, like the same places that you do your car insurance, etc. Because they have the license,
Okay.
so you can actually go to them.
So the
You can
car
actually
people
go.
should have the same license
They
as the
should have
house
the
lah.
license to do it. They should have the
Yeah.
license to do it because it's the same class.
Understand. Understand.
It's the same class. So, but house owners, so basically, household insurance. So basically, for the inside of your house. So they will ask you, okay, so what is it that you want to cover?
Hmm.
Okay, because you can cover it for theft.
Right.
Okay, You can cover it for insurance, for fire. You can cover it for flood. You can cover it for explosion.
But each one different price lah. Not, you cannot like
Different
one.
price, or you can take what's called an all risk insurance, which is going to be more expensive. So
Right,
an all risk insurance would be slightly different in terms of the rate for fixed items
right.
versus mobile items. So like things like your handphones, your laptops, etc., where people can easily carry it, would have
Yeah,
a higher premium rating. Means you pay
understand,
more for
because
every ringgit that covered. Right? It's like for me,
someone can steal.
the first time I actually claimed against household insurance was when my house was broken into back in 2000. Is it 2007?
Okay.
2007. Yeah, it was 2007. The current house that I'm living in. So it
Yeah.
was broken into. So they took my laptop.
Okay.
Okay, they
And then
took
you
my
claim
laptop.
insurance for the laptop.
Yeah, so that laptop actually had insurance against theft.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So then I ended up not didn't have to shell out any additional money lah
Right lah.
for a new laptop. But I didn't insure all the other electrical appliances. So I didn't insure the
Ah,
TV. I didn't insure my. I think at that time was a PS2. I didn't
right.
insure all the need, so they took it, and that one had to come up with money to replace lah. But at least the
Correct.
laptop, because the laptop at that time was 6,000 ringgit. So
Understand. Understand.
back
So that was
back
the
then,
big one.
laptops were not cheap. Yeah, so
Yes, correct.
yeah, so that's okay. Let's do this, and I think that was a very good decision lah, because I insured it for 3 years, and I only paid about 330 ringgit,
Which is not that
which
bad
is
actually.
not that bad. So one hundred
You
ten
think,
ringgit per year.
correct. You think about it based on whether you want to pay 6,000 or 300. You rather pay the 300 just in
Yeah,
case of something bad. But
yeah.
let's just say now, hypothetical. Now we know that there's insurance that you can buy. You know that you can cover all these different things for bencana alam, because before this I thought cannot. Okay, but let's go to people who didn't. All right. Now, um, as you know, this whole wealth vantage, the why we're doing the show is also to grow your wealth. And one of the ways of growing your wealth is having your assets grow, and having your investments grow, and your savings intact. But stuff like this disrupts that. So when something like this happens to someone who doesn't have a parachute, I call the insurance the parachute. What are the first steps they should do to stop the bleeding or the leaking? Where do they go?
Wow.
Tough one, right?
uh, yeah, there's no like
No, that I know.
real.
There's no, okay. There's no hundred, like okay. Caveat. Remember, these are just tips based on experience or estimation, guesstimation, or like we want to say.
Yeah.
But in your opinion, if you were stuck in that position, what were the steps you would take?
Okay, so I think, okay, so if I was in that position, I
Yep,
would obviously assess lah. I would assess my losses first. I
yep,
would assess my losses first. Although it's very painful.
yep. But you have to
Like
lah.
I said, like I already had somebody coming into my house and take my stuff. So obviously we have to assess the losses first lah. Assess
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
losses, and as I mentioned earlier, some were covered, some were not covered. So on the ones that were not covered, so it's okay. Okay, lost a TV, lost this, blah 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 blah. Okay, so what's the damage?
Right.
What's the damage
Okay.
like financially? Okay, so then the next step is, okay, are we financially equipped in order to recover from
Re-
the losses?
understand. Understand.
So because you already said no insurance, right? So
Yep.
then the next step is, okay. Uh, did you have your 6 months emergency savings put aside?
Correct. That was the key. Okay, for those of you who are first time joining us, remember we always advocate to have 6 months of your monthly saving, monthly pay put aside already before you start growing your wealth lah, investing lah, doing all these crazy things. But the first 6 months That is the basic savings that you should have before you step forward. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Continue.
So
So.
if you were able to have your 6 months emergency savings, so good news lah. So at
Mm,
least you're not starting from zero.
correct.
Okay.
Correct.
But then depending on the size of your 6 months lah. So obviously somebody with a higher income would have a higher amount of a 6 months emergency savings versus somebody with a lower income, and that's
Yep.
just the fact. That's just a fact. But somebody who doesn't earn that much also doesn't own that much.
Correct. Their losses
So
also will be lower.
their losses will also be lower. So let's take example lah. So probably somebody who earns like 10,000, 15,000 might have like two flat screen two for at least 40-inch flat screen TVs at home. And
Yep.
to
Yep. Yep.
replace that will probably be like 5K.
Yes. Correct. Correct.
Okay. Versus somebody who maybe let's say earns 3 to 4,000, you might have one TV only.
Yes.
It might be a 32-inch, which can be
Yes.
replaced below 1,000. So you're
Correct.
talking about different quantums now.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking about different quantums. Okay. So then once you already evaluated your losses and everything, so and you do have the savings, now you have to make decision. Okay. Which of the losses is important and urgent?
Okay. Okay. Fridge.
Okay. So example like a fridge,
Yeah.
right? If let's say the
Yeah.
fridge is the one that rosa or stolen or terbakar or whatever, okay, fridge. Okay, so then fridge item number one. So
Yeah.
what other appliances that is important? Can you eat without a table? Yes.
Yes. Can.
You can
Correct.
eat on the
Correct.
floor.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
eat on the floor. Can you sit without a sofa? Yes, you can sit on the floor.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Do you need a bed? Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
But tilam important.
Yeah. Tilam, not the bed itself, lah. The
Yep.
mattress.
Yep.
Right. So you start identifying. Okay. So these are the ones that mati-mati pun kena beli. And then
Understand.
you check back
Understand.
against the amount of savings that you have. Can I afford it?
Yeah.
So if you can afford it, then go ahead and buy those lah.
Understand. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then only if let's say you have extra and say, okay, so some of the things that are important but not urgent.
Okay.
Okay. So then you buy those. Okay. Then things that are not important, not urgent.
Just wait.
If you still have extra money, right? Then which
Yes.
doesn't affect any of your financial goals, however, then go ahead to buy it.
Yeah. Let's go back to the financial goals. Okay. What
Now,
if it affects your financial goals? I know it's a very a number that you can't quantify or put because it's based on individuals. It's not 100% everybody's the same, but a rough estimate of some, say like the damage that happened recently in the floods. Okay, how far back? How many years back does it push people's dreams most of the time?
it can push people back anywhere from 1 year to even like 5 to 10 years, depending
Oh
on
wow,
the impact of
yeah.
the loss. So,
So
assuming
that's
let's say
yeah,
lah, you recently bought a car.
yep,
Recently, you bought an X70, which is about what 90,000, 100,000 ringgit,
yep.
and you didn't insure it against flood, and there it was a total loss.
Okay,
But the thing is, it wasn't covered. So you have to basically still pay the
still pay
loan,
for that. Yeah,
still pay
which
for the
is
car, the monthly, and then you would then probably because you need a car, so you would buy a new car.
and now you got two loans.
You got two loans, but you only have one car to show for it.
And
That's
you know the
if you have one
scary,
car at the start. So if let's say
correct.
most couples, especially now, have at least two cars. So one
Yeah,
for the husband,
agreed.
one for the wife. So now you have to replace two cars. So but
Which
you're
is
potentially paying for four cars.
which goes back to what we discussed just now. You got to look at your finances whether you need it or not at this time. You know what I mean? Whether you can afford it or not, your goals,
Correct.
what you want to achieve, all that is very important, especially when it comes to uh, your
Yeah.
financial goals that you want to reach to.
Yeah, but I think nowadays you still have an option. So example, let's take a
Okay.
car lah. So even though having a car is important,
Yep.
having a car is important, but you can still get away with using like services like Grab.
Yeah, correct, correct. Because now there's more services and stuff like that.
There are more services, and it's not like before you actually had to go out to the main road to wait for a cab, things like
Yep.
that, right? So now
Yep.
you can be at your home. You can call the Grab to come pick you up
To
from
your home.
in
Yeah.
front of your gate, in front of
Yeah.
your door, and then okay, I want to go to, let's say, to buy my groceries. So
Yeah.
pergi, you bayar the Grab, you do your groceries, etc. Habis, okay, hail another Grab to send
And
you
then come home.
straight back home, come home.
Correct.
You can still do that, but then you save on the cost of owning a car.
Correct. But it also, even though we say save on your cost of owning a car, because that will stop you from having to pay the rent, rent pula the loan, but
Mm.
you also add more onto your daily expenses. So your budget is slightly
Yeah, so
important
it
to
depends.
pay attention
Yeah,
to it. Lah.
correct. It totally depends in terms of the usage.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it totally depends on the usage. So it's something that you have to monitor lah. You have to monitor which one makes more sense. I'm not
Yes,
saying that just taking Grab is the best way, but if let's say is for your second car and which you don't use it that much, things like that, right? So then using the hailing service is
smart
another
idea.
way, smarter idea. But if
Correct.
let's say you are a heavy user of car, so basically the car, you like say your job actually takes you around and you need the car and everything, and let's say taking Grab on a daily basis would basically cost you, let's say, 100 ringgit a day, right?
Then
So
doesn't make
then
sense.
it doesn't make sense lah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So remember, the expenses you should spend are the expenses, especially when you're talking about recovering. This is at least my opinion. The necessities like the fridge and the things that you technically really need instantly, and also in if whatever you're going to purchase is going to bring help you out to increase your wealth also. So like he said, if your job is to travel a lot and you meet new clients and stuff like that, and you need that car, then invest in the car because it's important. But if it's just to just jolly, then leave the car. No need car. Ambil Grab je.
Yeah, not
But
not to
you know,
say that you cannot buy it in the future, but you
yeah, correct,
prioritize lah.
correct. Correct, correct. Because at the moment you still need to pay for a car that has been damaged. And speaking about
Correct.
damage, all of a sudden, if in the next 3 months suddenly you see a lot of people selling cars very cheap, be wary of the car at
Yeah,
least.
yeah,
At least have a professional look the car over. Because I've had heard stories where on the outside looks perfect, but the friend who's a mechanic opens it and then like, no bro, don't buy this car. Inside
yeah.
is still messed up.
Correct. Yeah, so I think that's a car. So, but coming back to the point I was making about the house. So
Yep.
remember the point I made. So if your house is still being owned by the bank, at
Yes.
least you're partly safe.
Correct. 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 Correct.
Okay. The issue is not all houses are owned by the bank.
Yes. Yes.
So when your house is not owned by the bank, means that you already finished paying for your house. There's a high probability that you don't have fire insurance for your house
Co- Correct. No, agreed. 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 Because
because no one is
people
forcing you
that
to take it. No one is
exactly,
forcing you to take it.
and there's no one calling you to say, hey, buy this.
Correct. Kan. So just this is public service announcements. So for
Yep.
some, because I know I do have clients who are like that. I do have people who tak suka berhutang, dia suka bayar cepat habis hutang rumah dia semua. If you're one of those, or you know your parents ke, your grandparents ke, etc., that have a house that is not charged to the bank, means that there's no financing on it,
Yep.
please go to the insurance broker or pejabat post or your nearest bank, etc. Blah, blah, or a general agent, general insurance or takaful agent.
Yep.
I want to take fire insurance. Then you can talk about other things like your household, your homeowners insurance, etc. Blah blah for your house.
Exactly.
You can do all
And
that at one shot because it's not expensive.
correct. And like what Rafik says is, in case you don't know where to go, one good place is the bank itself, because most banks, there's an officer there who actually has the license to sell you insurance.
Correct,
So, and it's the insurance that's tied into the bank itself.
correct.
So
Yeah.
look
So
at it.
you can go and ask these people. You can go and
Correct.
ask these people, and then they can hopefully give you advice related to that product.
Correct, because I know for a fact, this is I learned because I was in the advertising line last time. When it comes to insurance, there's different agents and different style, and the bank part is called banca, if
Banca,
I'm not mistaken,
banca.
banca. So the bank side is banca. So each banks actually have a banca. So
Oh, they
the
must.
the
It's one of their income sources.
correct. So each
Yeah,
bank
it's
will
one of
have a
the income sources.
banca, no matter what. Even though if that bank doesn't have a insurance spin-off or a company on its own, it will tie into other insurance company to
Correct.
deal with the things. So please ask, because like what Rafiq said, you never know what would happen. Even like recently, there's some landslides happening. So there's so many
Yeah,
things that can happen. Wait, is there insurance against landslides? Oh, tada.
ada.
So can insurance anything lah. You can insure anything, but you have to pay for it lah.
Yes, you have to pay for it.
Okay, but correct me if I'm wrong. It's very specific. That means okay, I go to the thing. I want a fire insurance. The only insurer is got fire, and then
Correct.
I go. I
It's
want flood insurance. That's just flood.
yes. So fire and explosions are two different insurance, by the way.
Huh? What? What
Yeah,
if the fires cause the gas tank to explode?
correct. So you would think that, so it would be then it would actually be two different insurances.
What? That's what? I'm sorry.
It
Now
can
you
be
just
under
made
the
it
same
even more
policy.
confusing. Yeah.
It can be under the same policy, but it's under different clauses. So even if you have a fire insurance, please check that it also covers for explosion, because
Right.
explosion at home generally it will be related to your gas,
Right. Right.
your,
Understand.
apa tong gas tu, right?
Yeah. Correct. Because that's the
Because your
only
normal
thing that can.
fire would, yeah, can explode.
Yeah, that's right. So that's the only thing that can explode in the house. But
Yeah,
I had an evil thought lah recently when all the floods happening. It's like if you don't have flood insurance, if the house terbakar, you still covered, right? I don't know. I was just thinking like,
how
oh,
I'm trying to think how would a flooded house terbakar.
no, that means the water coming in caused electric and then the roof terbakar, the top part. So covered what? I'm just saying.
Actually, I would not say exactly because it
Yeah.
will be dependent on how the clause were written.
Investigators. Yeah.
Yeah,
The investigation will
because
go
they're gonna
into
pay you
and then,
money. They're gonna pay you
yeah.
money, so they will evaluate. They will do. They will what I think the actual term is called adjusters. So the
Ah,
adjusters would
yes,
come
that's the
and
word. That's the
yeah,
word.
would come and investigate, and
Yeah.
then basically, okay, JJ, so we have already done our investigation, etc. Blah, blah, blah. So this is how much we're gonna pay you.
Understand. Okay, cool. The insurance is a very interesting subject, lah. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it is. It
Uh,
is. So
it's
is but the thing is, okay, a lot of people don't like insurance or takaful actually because you're talking about loss.
yeah.
You cannot talk about insurance without talking about the concept of loss. So either loss of life, loss of assets, loss of income. So
And people don't
because
like to talk about it.
whether you like it or not, insurance and takaful is actually a risk management tool.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
actually to manage the risk that you face.
So it's the parachute for you on your journey towards accumulating the wealth you want.
Correct. Yeah. So, and the fact is that a lot of people, you need to change your mindset that it's a waste of money paying for insurance or takaful and not being able to claim.
Correct. Correct. No, agree.
Because the thing
I
is,
agree with you.
to be honest, you do not want to claim because
Yes.
if you have to claim means you have experienced loss.
Correct. 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 Correct.
You have
So
experienced some
it's
sort of loss. So it's
exactly.
something that you want to have. It's like a bodyguard, right? It's like a
It's like
bodyguard.
your airbag of your car.
Yeah,
You don't want the airbag to go off, but you want it
yeah.
there.
You want it there, right?
Yes.
Because that is to safeguard you in
Yeah.
case something happens. So
Correct.
you need
Correct.
to change the mindset that you must get something out of taking insurance and takaful because
But
that is the biggest feedback that I get from the public. Like,
correct.
so that's why a lot of them also okay. I'm also gonna do savings and investments together so that I get something
In
back,
understand.
something in return.
Uh, but on that note, also, got you got to go back to our past shows. We actually dive a bit more into insurance, and your own personal insurance and stuff like that, because sometimes doesn't we're not saying just take insurance and don't know what you're taking, because you can be taken on a ride and then pay for extra things, and not getting what you want. So please be aware of the type of insurance out there as well. All right. And also be aware of certain things, like even your car. If you meet an accident, there is only a certain amount your insurance will pay for parts. If you want new parts, you got to top up or something like that. I forgot what's it called, the certain words. Unless you pay a
Uh,
certain amount and then you,
Insurance. Okay, so basically, let's talk about car insurance in the last few
yeah,
minutes that we have. Okay, so
yep,
when you want to take car insurance, there are actually two values of the insurance that you can take.
okay,
So one is called the market value, which most people do,
yeah,
because what most people are taking the car insurance is not because they want to take care of the car. It's just because it's a requirement to
correct,
get their road tax.
correct. So they go for the bare minimal.
Yeah. So I'm telling you that is a very bad idea. That's a very bad idea, especially if you still owe the bank money.
Okay.
Okay. So if you still owe the bank money, what you should be doing is to take what's called actual value. So basically, insurance that covers the total amount that you still owe the bank. So it's an agreed value lah. So if let's say you
Yeah.
still owe the bank, let's say 50,000, so you're taking the insured value as 50,000.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. Understand what you mean.
Yeah. So because the thing is, let's say I hope I get this right. So let's say you take on the market value, right? But you
Yep,
don't actually take the market value. So let's say the market value is 40,000
yep,
and you took it at, let's say, at 30,000. Okay. It's not going to cover you up to 30,000.
correct,
It's
correct.
actually
It's
going to
not gonna
cover you a percentage up to 30,000. So
exactly.
because
And
30,000 or 40,000 is 75%. So you get covered 75% of the amount.
correct. And on top of that, I think most of the time when you do the 40,000 or 30,000, how much you owe your bank will be about 10,000 more. So
Yes,
there's
correct.
some extra to there.
Yeah. So take the actual value. So
Right,
if especially you still owe the banks, take the actual value.
right. Because of a total loss, at least it's not
Yes.
painful.
Yeah, because I had somebody who got into an accident. He
Yep.
was safe and everything. So the car was a total loss. Had to top up money to pay the bank after the insurance was settled. Then had to keluar duit for down payment of a new car.
Uh,
So
I feel
double whammy.
I feel people for people like that where you're paying bank for something you don't own anymore
Yeah,
sucks.
oh, yeah. Oh, sakitnya di sini.
Sakit. That is like something I like every time I hear like yes, banks do that, make you pay for things you don't owe. If you don't know how to
Correct.
deal with stuff, things can
So
happen where you're paying
which
the
which
banks
is
for something
which
you
is
don't owe.
why you should change your mindset and say, okay, insurance and takaful is my friend.
Yep. Yep.
So just imagine. So let's say for my house, which is double story terrace house, okay.
Yep.
So the value of the property is about 950,000,
Okay.
but the insured value for the house, if let's say the house burns down and everything, is only like, if I'm not mistaken, about 350,000. Basically, to rebuild the house whole,
To build the the,
okay,
the, the structure lah. That's it.
the structure, the wiring, the plumbing, etc., is 350.
Yep.
It's 350,000. I'm only paying about 300 ringgit a year for that.
Yeah.
So
It's worth.
just for the peace of mind that I don't have to
Yep.
shell out 350,000 in order to
Yep.
rebuild my house
Yep.
if the worst case scenario happens, right?
Yeah.
Paying
It's
300 ringgit a year is like peanuts lah.
we go back to that lah. We go back to the line. It's like a airbag in your car. You want it there, but you don't want it to use it. That's about it. Okay. It's good to
Betul.
have it there because of emergency. At least you don't die. You get hurt a bit. You know, that's it. So it's very
Yeah,
important.
so I would suggest lah, because I think we have a few more minutes. I would suggest
Yep.
all of you that are watching either right now or watching after the fact, right? So, and I know for a fact most people don't take note
Yeah.
for insurance on their assets.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Even if you talk
I,
to financial planners, even if you talk to financial planners, most of them when they talk to you about your financial plans, don't touch about this portion.
but it's very important because that can interrupt your end goal.
Correct.
It can really interrupt you.
Yeah.
Like
So
earlier,
for
I asked Rafiq how long can it push back? It can push back from 1 year to 10 years. So your end goal could be pushed
yeah,
back that long.
correct. So for me, it's not part of the standard plan when I talk to my clients. But if let's say during the fact finding, I find out, let's say, okay, so client dah nak finish bayar rumah, ataupun apa, client actually has a property that is already paid for. So
Right.
that is my responsibility then to tell the client, you need to look into taking your own
Fire
homeowner
insurance.
insurance.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
So there you go, guys. Remember, we started off this whole insurance path because of the bencana alam that have been happening, and we explain if you're just joining us on what you can do and how do you move forward with your growth of your own wealth if you if you're stuck
yeah,
or the floods happen to you. All right, we've discovered that and we've explained that. It's tip top line nutshell kind of thing. It's not specific to you, but if you want specifics, of course you can get in touch with Wealth Vantage anytime. You can follow their social media because of their social media they give you all the ideas and all that. Or can we become smaller again so I can show them the QR code? Because this is my face so big. There's a QR code right under Rafiq. There you go. There's the QR code. So you see the QR code, scan that, and you get your free financial health check. Or of course, up on top of Rafiq said, you'll see the URL where you can sign up and get a free financial health check by a licensed financial planner. What they do is they'll just give you the results. They won't tell you what is it, where it'll move, how. The rest is up to you to see if you want to take it further, and that's very important. It's good to know and it's good to take it further and grow you out. But Once again, Rafiq, thank you so much for chatting.
No problem.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
this one helps everybody. And remember, everybody, if this is after the fact, share it on your social media. So let other people also learn all this brilliant
Yes.
knowledge.
Yeah.
But you have a good week. Hopefully, the next 2 weeks, nothing horrific happens because I cannot
Hopefully.
handle anymore. I cannot handle anymore. I
Yeah.
think
So I
we should
I
stabilize.
think you might have jinxed 2022 though. Remember, remember our first show for the year?
Yes. No, no, I take back whatever I say. Touch wood, touch wood. Okay, ketuk, 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 ketuk. Okay, dah. Don't worry, dah. Took back, really, took back. Everything is going to be okay. But once again,
Yeah.
have a good
Let's hope.
weekend.
Yeah. Let's hope.
Yeah,
Yeah. You
have
too.
a
You
good
too.
week. You have a good weekend. Hopefully, in 2 weeks' time, we come back with good news. All right.
All
See
right.
y'all.
Yeah. See you everyone. Have a nice weekend.
Bye.